Today, I'm going to be showing you some unknown facts and tips for Battles 2 that you definitely didn't know. So tight ceramics are old, but they are still a very deadly rush, especially since they've been moved to a sooner round. And something a lot of people didn't know is that if you were to put them into gold form and then pop them, they will go down to rainbow immediately instead of staying in their ceramic form. So if we wait, you can see that those are rainbows, and that those that didn't actually get or goldified are still ceramics. Usually when people want to defend BADs with Ninja, they go for just a Master Bomber or maybe even a Grand Master. But as you can see, both the Sticky Bomb and the Master Bomber Bomb can both stick onto the same BAD to deal a bit more damage than just with the Master Bomber. So just like how you have a Super Brittle with Embrittlement all the way in the front, how about you try this next time you use Ninja? A lot of people forget, but Thin Ice is actually the best map for the bomb shooter. In fact, if you have Striker for his level 4 or whatever it is, speed buff, then you can actually fully defend purple balloons infinitely without actually needing a second cluster bomb or a recursive cluster. If there's ever a situation where it'd actually be better for the spikes to go the other way, you can cross path it with the bottom path for the Maelstrom to switch the other direction. So normally, it'll go clockwise, right? But then once you get the bottom path, it'll actually go counterclockwise. I forgot which maps it's useful on, but I'm sure you have a bunch that come to mind. So go ahead and cross path it with the bottom cross path to make it go the other direction. So a lot of people haven't noticed that Biker no longer buffs the bomb and mortar, except for level 9, level 8, when he gives all monkeys in his range plus 5% range and 30% pierce. So you can see there is a symbol on there, but it'll be for anything, so he no longer specializes in the bomb and mortar. And then there's also level 19 where he also buffs him a bit. But essentially, if you like the bomb and mortar, just forget him, just go with Striker. He's entirely better because, you know, he will still be the exact same as he used to be. So a lot of people didn't know, they thought the mortar couldn't stun anything, but actually the Poppinaw can actually stun things pretty well with its ability. So next time you need to slow stuff down, make sure to remember the mortar can do this. A lot of people forget this, but you know, the Ice Monkey can freeze water, especially in the earlier days of Battles 2. Most people didn't realize this, but yes, the Snowstorm, the Arctic Wind, and the Absolute Zero all are able to freeze the water, except if you don't sell what was on here, then as you can see, you're not gonna get your money back, so you gotta sell that first and then that, or else you're not gonna get that money back. Some people didn't know, I'm not sure how many, but you can actually micro the special populations to spawn down a bunch of little snipers here, or whatever they're called, Marines. Yeah, I don't really care, but you know, it's pretty cool, but it's kind of hard to do normally because, let's say I was trying to actually do this, I would have to go like really fast, oops, make sure I don't mess up. Also, they're not actually popping the balloons for some reason. Oh, there we go, I guess they just weren't in range. So it's like kind of, you can do it, but it's hard to get more than like 5 down or something. But since we're already on it, what rushes can the special populations defend? Being a $30,000 upgrade, you'd think it'd be able to defend a lot, so let's see what it can defend. We got him down, and let's see an average rush of tight leads. He can indeed pop leads, and he can pop basically an infinite amount of them. Let's just full-on send that, and, yeah, he's, it's not even pushing, so that's good. It is a $30,000 upgrade, so I would hope that it'd push. Oh, but now you gotta make sure he's back on the map. Alright, but what about region leads? Are those gonna get anywhere? Or no, not really. Okay, so that's really nice to know. Alright, so then what about fortified regions? Can they get through? So let's see those. Oh, those are ceramics. But since he's at it, oh yeah, he can do ceramics real well. Except, is he gonna be good with the tower boost? I know I should have tower boosted forever ago. Okay, we'll see that later. Like I said, we'll do the leads. So he is, oh wait, that was a tower boosted one. Put you back down. So, yeah, he's able to do that pretty easily. So what about ceramics? Is he able to do ceramics, like a whole all out of them? Oh, just without any modifiers, it's already pushing, but wait. Oh, he defended until he disappeared. So let's see, what about like a jungle drums? That's not a very expensive upgrade, so you should be able to afford jungle drums, right? Right, now let's see that. And he is able to... oh, wait, no, he's not. Alright, so forget ceramics. Apparently, he can't actually do an all-out ceramics. but assuming that your opponent isn't gonna send much more than, okay, let's do a realistic rush. So realistically, your opponent's probably gonna send like a balloon queue of regions, ceramics, and yeah, he defends that, although it's a $30,000 upgrade, so I wouldn't call it viable, since, unless you have that money. A lot of people say, oh no, I don't have anything for the B80 insides whenever they're using the Spike Factory, but reality is, you can just use the Perma Spike as long as it's been up for like, at least 3 rounds. Alright guys, I do believe I have a maximum Perma Spike pile now, so now I'm actually gonna send all the DDTs in the world to see that it actually holds up infinite, or that it's supposed to. So essentially your opponent would be almost dead, and now they're trying to all out you, and you have the mercy of your Perma Spike to die, but it refuses, and so as you can see, we're not actually getting anywhere, the pile has barely been touched. Yeah, as you can see, just $30,000 is able to defend like $1 million of DDTs, so just gonna see how long this takes actually. We're gonna speed this up to... Alright, this has to be $1 million of DDTs, right? Maybe even 2 million. Doing boost again. Your opponent's probably way dead by now. Alright, Perma Spike. As you can see, the Perma Spike is basically permanent. So now I'm going to rebuild it again. Just, I don't have Biker Bones, so I'm not increasing the Pierce or anything. I've had Churchill this whole time. And the only thing I've been doing is Jungle Drum, and then Homeland Defense, which I'm pretty sure the only thing the Homeland Defense does is increase attack speed. So it doesn't make it more damage, it doesn't make it any more Pierce, it's not cheating, it's just making the time fly by faster. So, yeah, just let me do this. Okay, so now we are going to see that the Perma Spike can actually defeat an entire B80. So, let's actually just speed this up a bit. And then we'll have, like, the Icicle Impale in the back or something to make sure that we don't die, like, instantly. And, yeah, the Perma Spike just soloed the entire B80, so $30,000 upgrade versus a $30,000 tower. And let's actually see how many we can solo before it's down for the count. And, yeah, I know this has Jungle Drums, but Jungle Drums isn't very expensive, okay? So, can a $30,000 upgrade defeat two $60,000? Yeah, actually, that's kind of surprising. Actually, I shouldn't be having these as space because that's wasting me like a whole bunch of time. Oh, and also balloon boosting is something I should be doing. I'm not sure why the balloon queue's glitched, but let's see. Is this the last B80? Can it only take 3 B80s? Yeah, it can only take 3 B80s. But 3 B80s is still pretty crazy for such a cheap tower, so moving on finally. Have you ever been rushed in Bonanza when you had little to no defense? Well, this strategy can defend a BAD, a fortified one actually, with only having Sign Squin, the Balloon Solver, the Glue Storm, and a few of these. So essentially, let me just, you have to like start from the very beginning. So, you'll be using your thing there like usual. Okay. So now it's going to get very micro-intensive. So you're going to be... Oh, I thought the Glue Storm did it. Hadn't. Okay, well that was my bad then. So you're going to keep microing these two, like, really fast. Oh, that was actually too fast. You need to wait till, like, 3 Glen micros before the glue is actually done. And look at that. Yeah, we already shredded that. Now, actually, I would like to see it with just 1 Dart Ship and 1 Apache Prime. So we're going to do that again. Somewhere like that she'll be at. So now you just send one of those, put that down. Alright. So now we're gonna do the same thing again. Bada bing, bada boom, bada something, whatever it goes. So it's only 1 Apache, Dart Ship, and Time instead of 3 of them. Is that gonna be enough? Well, I think so, because I did that. And here we go. We're gonna micro the glue finally. Alright. Just put Gwen down. It's definitely taking longer, as you can see, but I do think we can still do it. And yeah, we just did that just like that. So essentially, you only really needed tier 5s. You probably don't even need this guy. And so yeah, that was pretty good. And just for the fun of it, anyway, so, you know, pretty fun to micro heroes for no reason. But yeah, essentially, the Glue Storm level 10 Gwen combo are a little too overpowered, so... That was without a Homeland too, although yeah, I know this is only one strategy. Well, actually no, you can do it with a Glue Dart Village and Glue Tack Village too, as long as it has the glue. Oh, and also Ninja Out, Glue Ninja Out can probably also do it. So yeah, very cheap. Well, it's not that cheap, but I don't think it's that expensive. I couldn't tell since I have $1 billion, but yeah, on to the next stuff. So not only does the Grand Sabo slow things down like you would have thought it would, because, you know, that's what the base one does as well, but also, it will reduce the Moab health during the Sabo, not before like it used to be or should have been or something like that. So essentially, if we do enough damage to this BAD, then after a while, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then we should be able to use the ability and see a crack in there. Okay, well there wasn't a crack, but it would be easier to demonstrate if it were a Moab like it actually said. So essentially, Moab's ability. Okay, well, the ability didn't show much. You have to actually do a decent amount of damage to them before you can actually see anything. So reset that, reset that, reset that, use that, send it, and then you do some damage. You use the ability, and there is a crack in there, you just can't teleport things. But it does say it is for a fact, it's just really hard to demonstrate, so source, trust me bro. In Bonanza, I'll see people spamming Necromancers late game to get more graveyard balloons, but as you can see, it has 450, which is the max, and these only have 0. So you can't actually stack them, so don't do it. I can get rid of these guys, and it's no worse or better than when we only had 1. But I'm pretty sure it can actually stack with the Prince of Darkness, so if we actually get him in here, and then we have 450 on you, and then soon to be, let's send like purples. And wait a minute, I think you actually have to get the Prince of Darkness like first. So like, let's get the Prince of Darkness, and then let's also get him right now. This guy was first. Okay, 70, 300, 500, 60, all that. So yeah, you can stack the Prince of Darkness with the Necromancer. I'm just not sure why you would, because it doesn't make that much sense. He's only getting like barely anything. So basically, don't stack Necromancers. Is it mid-game and you're trying to get through your opponent's Necromancer, but nothing really budges? Well, that's because you need to send whites. They are the best at getting through the graveyard balloons, and they're basically guaranteed. It just takes a while, but not quite as long as like purples or something else. And also whites are decent for eco. And now, as you can see, it's completely helpless, and now you can send whatever you want, and it can't spawn anything because the track is full of balloons that aren't owned by him. So now you have beat your round 13 opponent. But something that's like really annoying is that it can actually do like a really decent job against a Moab, which, I mean, price it should, like a $1,000 rush versus like a $3,000 tower, but it kind of does against Moabs better than a Hydra Rocket Pods. Okay, well, it would have. Let me just try that again. Now that we actually have a full stack of graveyard balloons. And oh, no we don't. Alright, so now that I actually have a full graveyard, or what I do believe to be full, this is as full as it'll ever get. Oh wait, not even close. So yeah, even though it wasn't full, it was still able to pop the Moab. I guess the Wallfire actually makes a pretty decent difference. So we all know that the knockback on the Super Monkey can quite literally knock back normal balloons, right? You may say, well, it can't with Moabs, but it can slow it down. That's how fast a Moab moves normally, and that's how fast it moves with knockback. So, I don't know, this difference could save your life maybe one day. And then, of course, you know, if you upgrade it some more, then you'll actually be able to pop it. And here's another thing. A Super Monkey can't defend against pinks very well, can it? Well, no, it can't. But the range upgrades can actually increase its pierce. Actually, let's start that from standstill. The range upgrades can actually increase its pierce, even though it doesn't say anywhere in his job description. Actually, his job description is pretty useless. But now he is, in fact, able to defend. Well, mostly if we just go for a second one, then he will be able to. So yeah, next time you can't seem to pop enough balloons, maybe consider the range, even though the range you would logically think it wouldn't actually help, but somehow it does. Now, you may think that anything but darts, such as heat vision, should be able to pop leads, right? Because it's heat. Well, it can't, which doesn't make any sense. You have to go for plasma before it's actually able to do anything to leads. So essentially, the laser vision, laser blast, only really increased the damage. That's how it did against normal pinks, and that's how it did when it doesn't actually have the increase of damage. Or I think it doesn't increase of damage. Yeah, like barely. Something like that. So essentially, you can't pop much because purple balloons are completely immune. Are you about to die because your opponent sent DDTs? Well, you can Tech Terror them, right? But did you know that you can also Tech Terror ZOMGs? But then you'd probably die because they'd eventually get through the exit. But if you Tech Terror with the knockback, then it'll actually knock them back, even though it's not the base attack and the basic attack. You can see it doesn't actually knock them back. So, you can actually knock them back until they're in BFB and then it gets one shot. But here's another cool thing, not really useful, but cool. We all know the Super Monkey, more specifically the Tech Terror, has 2 arms, right? Well, if it targets towards balloons when it's still unupgraded, and then you get the Tech Terror after it's done popping balloons, it's basically a Minecraft armor stand. So you can do it in all different kinds of poses, like down here, if you wanted. And then make him shooting upward, and then you upgrade him. Now he looks like he's trotting along, except he doesn't really walk, so it wouldn't matter. And then same thing with the anti-balloon and Tech Terror, and I'm not sure where it would go if you had him in the middle here. Not sure why I actually sent BFBs, because they're way slower. But, in a moment. Right, so that's basically the same direction, but is it? No, not really. Not entirely. So you can definitely play around with this, although it's not that interesting, I guess. Because it essentially doesn't do much, other than, you know, yeah, now he's facing, like, he has a broken bone. Although I guess maybe he's a robot and he doesn't have any bones. But that is Battles 2 tips, tricks, and facts for beginners, or, you know, maybe just are a veteran, but you still didn't know those things. So I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to check out this video, where I was on my way to Hall Masters, and I barely died. Like, I was like 1 balloon away or something, I kind of forgot, but something like that. It was definitely sad, but you should see it, and see you there.